Hello, hello. This is Nancy Juetten. I'm your podcast guesting success expert and the leader of the Love Your Business, Love Your Life Inner Circle. And today I'm bringing a very special guest to the Learn More, Earn More show to talk about something very, very exciting that's coming up at the start of the new year that needs your attention right now. Please join me in welcoming the amazing Mark Porteous to the Learn More, Earn More show. Mark, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Nancy. It's so wonderful to be here with you.
It's always good to be with you. Now, for the last 2 years, I have been taking my front row seat at the Soul Leadership Retreat in Orlando, Florida. And this, I believe, will mark your 5th year hosting this event with your lovely wife, Renee, that happens Super Bowl weekend in your backyard. And so, what I'd love to know is why do you do this and what's coming up this time that's going to make the event a must attend for everyone who's watching?
Well, thank you for that delicious introduction. And believe it or not, this is actually our sixth year.
Oh, 6. Oh, I didn't get that right.
Sixth year, no, all good. Yeah, last year was our fifth year. The year before that, and our fourth year was a hybrid. So our very first year was 2020. We did it in February, like you said, it was on Super Bowl weekend by accident. I almost chickened out when I realized that I had accidentally booked on Super Bowl weekend, but everything worked out exactly as it needed to. Because if I had waited, I would have missed the world shutting down and not getting a chance to do it live because it was only like 3 weeks later that literally we went into lockdown. So that was in 2020, and then we were virtual in 21 and 22, and then 23 we did a hybrid of live and virtual, and it was just a split energy. So I know that there's still lots of people doing hybrids, and they certainly have their place. But the Soulful Leadership Retreat is a in-person event, and it really there's a container that we create there that you have woven the fabric of with me for a very long time about what soulful leadership means. And we live in a transformation industry, a personal development industry where we're here to help other people. But a lot of times it feels very transactional. It feels more like it's um, a job to some people, or a market and industry, rather than really about how are we making the world a better place. And so I love that the way that we partner is different than a lot of other places in the industry. You and I'm talking about particularly, but we bring that into the soulful leadership, and really creating an atmosphere that is all about making deep connections. In fact, the theme of it is around a theme. I was given the moniker of the Soul Connector by my dear friend Alan Davidson, my mentor, who passed back in 2021. And he said, I connect people to who they are at soul level. I connect them to their soul purpose, and I connect them to their soul tribe. And so day one is all about connecting to who you are. And it's not a lot of talking heads on stage. It's really engaged conversation where the people at the tables get to share who they are, how they're showing up, more than just who you are in your business, but who you are in life. And then day two is more about how who you are shows up in what you do. That's connecting to your soul purpose. How do you monetize your mission? What are the paths for it? And how do we do that in a way that's very authentic, but also very effective? And then the answer to that is usually in day three, which is connecting to your soul tribe. That's about client attraction, attracting your perfect customers, building your dream team to make the systems and the structures work. And then my favorite part around connecting to your affiliate ambassadors.
Mm, affiliate ambassadors, that's a sassy term. Tell us what that means.
Well, it's very interesting because the brand that we moved into in 2020 from the Inspired Messengers Network into the Soul Affiliate Alliance took some time to get comfortable with, because to me, an affiliate sounded transactional. And my mentor, Alan, was, no, your affiliate is your ambassador. Like, an affiliate is somebody who's representing you. And so you want to be very careful with who you affiliate, and like who you're representing and who's representing you. So to me, your affiliate, that's exactly what it is. It's like, you are one of my top affiliates. You were our most valuable partner at the event last year. And it's not just about like I'm going to tell everybody about it. It's like, because I'm all in, like I'm there, and people feel the enthusiasm. And like you said, it's not easy crossing the country from diagonal. You live as far away as you could live in the continental US.
It's funny you should say that because geography was never my strength in school. But when I do look at the United States of America and I look at where Bellingham is versus where Orlando, Florida is, I gotta really want to go if I'm going to make that journey. And it's been so worthwhile for me. Let's just call it the way it is. We've been living in a Zoom world for predominantly for a few years, many of us. And I just think there's nothing better than being in the right room with the right people where the conversations are about what we really care about accomplishing in our online businesses today. And I think that for me, finding a room where I truly belong has been a real breakthrough for me personally, because there have been plenty of 3-day events that I've attended over the last 10 or 12 years where maybe I didn't feel like I fit. Maybe I didn't feel like I belong, but I feel like these are my people and this is my tribe, and I'm really happy to be a part of it. And how we do anything is how we do everything. How we do it, that's been said so many times before. So who's the right person to come to this event and make it a priority?
Um, well, it's very interesting because, like you said, we have been in a Zoom world, and a lot of people that were living in the traveling world, a lot of coaches, authors, speakers, and experts, those are the people that are coming to the event, were it was a very drastic change to stop going to events. And then they reevaluated their lives and they're like, oh, wow, I don't have to travel. So it saves a lot of money and all of those other things. And so the people that are coming to this event are selecting it, just like you, where they're not going to a dozen events a year. There are some people that come to this event that might also go to a dozen other events a year. But uh, again, it's a very selective um, event to be at, because again, one, it's highly curated by the people that are attending. We really are focused on relationship marketing, and so that's the same way that we fill the event. Great people attract great people. We had 70 people in 2020. Then we went virtual. It was 120 the first year, and then 220 the second year. And then when we came back to live, it was 80 people live and 120 virtual. But the 80 went to 110 last year, and I think we're expecting over 200 this year. And
That's
again,
That's wonderful growth and congratulations. I mean, you are certainly attracting some really important icons of influence in our industry. Are there some names that you're able to drop at this early stage so folks can know that they could actually be in the same room with this, that, or the other person?
absolutely. And the names are the same, they have the same challenges. So I spent a lot of work last year um, planting the seeds about being there. And some of the people that showed up, in addition to you, some people from out west, Charla and Jesse from Thrive Academy, who you've done a lot of partnerships with. You've known them for a long time, but then again, coming out of that event and having you both in Metamind, somebody was just saying the other day, they're like, yeah, I just saw 3 people from Metamind in their event. Michael Neely was one of them, you, and then me, and so they're going to be coming out, and they're saying the same thing, they're going to take their boys with them. So the 4 of them flying cross country when everybody used to be coming to them. And I think that's pretty much the whole West Coast. Like there was just so much going on there that people are used to everything coming there. So coming just to the East Coast, what some of the other people that are coming are not even just coming from this country. Our dear friend Alessio Peroni is coming in from Spain. And he lived in Italy. He's from Italy. He was the chief marketing officer for Mind Valley. Many people are familiar with the Mind Valley brand. He helped bring that company from a couple of million to multi-billion-dollar brand. And it's funny because I'm hoping he brings his wife. A lot of people are now bringing spouses and kids as well, which is really, really fun for me, just because it's in a really beautiful space near Disney, but in a very secluded space that feels luxurious. But because of being able to share space, it becomes reasonably affordable.
Well, then the rooms are so beautiful and so spacious. My goodness. Um, the first time I came to the reunion resort, I did a video to show my husband. I said, "Look at all this square footage. I guess land must be really cheap here."
Well, it is compared to Florida. Yeah, anywhere along the West Coast, it's definitely a bigger space. And you
So,
had a whole space to yourself, which is really, really nice. But again, they do have 2 and 3 bedrooms, so a lot of people will like to have 3 or 4, or sometimes even 5 people in a bedroom
right, and
suite.
that makes for really good late night snack conversations over wine or whatever it is that people are wanting to do. Because one of the things I notice is that there are the the scheduled events that happen throughout the event, but I've often found that some of the best moments happen along the edges. Um, Sometimes who I meet while I'm waiting in line to go to the ladies' room, there's some conversation that starts that ends up taking me to a whole new um, a new relationship I didn't even know was possible. It's just amazing. So I guess we're sort of talking about setting intentions. And when I go to an event like this, from the moment my feet are on the floor, from leaving the Uber or the Lyft or the taxi, I am ready to play and ready to engage. And I know that magic is waiting behind every door, behind every corner, and I set the intention that I'm going to welcome it. What other intentions should people set when they show up in Florida for the Soulful Leadership Retreat?
Well, it's funny that you bring up intentions, because that was one of the lessons I learned from you at an event back in 2015, I think. It might have even been 14, when I was showing up to an event for a client and had no really specific intention for myself. And you recommended that I do set at least one and maybe 2 or 3. And we build that into our event right from the beginning of the event, of having everybody set clear intentions and give people ideas of what they might find there. One of the ones that I love that you encourage people is to find 3 gems to add to your crown jewels. Is that how you say it?
Jewels in the crown. That's what I
Yeah,
call it. You
three
know
extra.
what I've always believed is that when you go to a live event, there are people on stage, there are people speaking on panels, there are people that have roles to play that have been specifically selected to add value to the event. And being somewhat introverted myself, it helps me to say, oh, of all the people that I see showcased on this agenda, I can see at least 5 people that would make traveling across the country worthwhile to have a conversation with. And so I look them up before I get there. I find out a little bit about them before I introduce myself, and then I find a way into their heart or their mind or their gut to see what might be possible for a relationship to take root to grow. And I find that that kind of preparation really does set me up to succeed without getting overwhelmed. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that's a little bit overwhelmed by going to a 3-day event where there could be hundreds of people. But that's sort of one of my ninja strategies that's really paid off because I remember this one guy was at some event I was at a million years ago, and I thought, well, of all the people I've seen here today, that's the guy I want to have lunch with. So I spent time talking myself into inviting him to have lunch with me. And it turns out I was the only one that asked him. He was so honored. We had the best conversation, and that turned into a really great strategic alliance that we worked on for multiple years afterwards. And so I think that there's a lot of little magical things that you can manifest if you just set the right intention.
Absolutely. And I said we built it into the first day, but something we've done even to go beyond that is that we are having monthly calls leading up to the event. So every month, starting this next Tuesday, August 20th, we're going to have our very first mixer for attendees. And that gives people a chance so that you actually get to meet each other and know each other before you get to the event. You get to set some of those intentions and say, oh, I see how they're showing up. It's not about talking about your business. It's like, oh, okay, I see what you're up to. I like your personality. And so I'm really excited about these monthly mixers, and we're going to be able to bring in aspects from the retreat in advance. So we'll even be able to talk about some of the content, like setting the intention. We'll have an intention setting when we get closer. We'll have a piece with our dear friend Amy Janice around branding and how to show up powerfully in the right colors on the right day, even some of the special activities and things. We'll have our photographer will be doing headshots while we're there. So that'll be part of the pre-game mixers. And I'm really excited, again, having these mixers where they're very intentional, with each one kind of having a theme, but it's building momentum so that the people that are there get to know each other more and more. And the people that are there at the beginning are like watching the crowd grow each month. And they're the ones that are kind of rooted in it and bringing more of their communities as well.
Well, so since you mentioned that these things are going to be starting as soon as next week, I know you have a special deadline that you've set where there's some special bonuses and benefits for those who register for the retreat before Labor Day. Can you elaborate on what is in it for those who are early deciders?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the things is for the past 5 years, we have not really announced the retreat until September. Most people don't hear about it until like no October and November. So it's really fun to be able to talk about it in advance. And we don't want to have it just sitting on somebody's calendar. We want to start building up to it. When you said the activities, are you talking about during the
Well,
pre-event?
isn't there, like, if people register before
Oh,
Labor Day, don't they get a strategy
three.
session with you for JV partnering and that sort of
Yeah, yeah.
thing?
So there's three different things. One is exactly what you said, and this is very limited because it's a half-hour session with me specifically around your partnership strategy. So this is just a value add one of like how do we best position you at the event leading up to the event, and are there people that we can connect you to, but just really overall looking at where you are, what is the strategy, and how can we best support you. That's one big bonus that will go away on Labor Day. Actually, I think it might be August 31st on the website. So August 31st is that, and the early bird pricing. So I think there's like right now a $300 discount on tickets, as well as these monthly calls. All three of those things are the bonuses for joining early.
Well, all the more reason to register ahead of time is that I will be hosting a VIP mastermind the day before your retreat for my Love Your Business, Love Your Life Inner Circle members. And those who decide to take advantage of the early bird pricing before Labor Day will get a very important invitation to join us for that powerful session where we're going to brainstorm powerful solutions to nagging problems in your business. We're also going to link arms and find ways that we can advocate, champion, and promote each other in the room throughout the event so that you're never going it alone for even a moment. And that's a very, very special benefit that I'm extending to those who get off the dime and get going, because right about this time of year, people are getting their kids back in school and they're wrapping up their vacations and they're making plans about how they're going to enjoy the rest of the year. I say, let's make a decision that we're going to meet in Florida for this event and to make sure that we've cleared the decks so that we can get as the greatest value, the greatest impact, and the greatest level of connection with people who are going to be there sooner versus later, right?
Absolutely. Again, if you are feeling like you're not quite sure, we also created a really cool checklist that you helped us to come up with. And that was the how to determine if it's worth investing your time, money, and travel to go to an event. And I'll make sure that you get a special link for that as well.
Oh, very good. I'm so glad that people are taking advantage of that special gift because, I remember working with a coach a number of years ago, and he'd say to me, you're going to get invitations and opportunities every single day. It's really up to you to decide which ones are aligned and congruent with your biggest, most important goals, and which of those are a distraction away from you achieving them. And so the degree to which we can all get super clear about why are we going there in the first place and what do we intend to get out of it and what wonderful outcomes can unfold when we show up in a winning way and get the magic that's waiting for us. And I think this is a word you use a lot, but to the extent that we can be discerning about where we spend our time, our money, and our resources, we can also be discerning about creating the right kind of impact and return on investment for our effort and time and energy. And I think that checklist is something that lots of other event producers are going to be hungry to see as well, right? So,
Absolutely.
so I wanted to share just a little success story from my own world based on what happened for me last year at your event. Um, I went all in because that's the kind of gal I am. I bought the VIP package, and there's a special VIP mastermind that happens, I think, the day after the event.
Yep. The
And
morning mastermind.
the first year I just said, no, I'm not going. Hell no, I won't go. But year two, I said, no, I'm all in. I'm going to show up. And fortunately, I had been invited to speak on your stage. And so everybody knew who I was and what I had to say or what I stood for. So when I had my 1 minute opportunity to make an ask of the VIP folks that were in the room, I literally took the whole room home in my pocket. And I've been able to set up integrated joint venture partnerships with some of the most influential people that were in that room, and they've become very dear friends and great colleagues. And so I'm really glad that I showed up in that way, because having the opportunity to have my podcast Dream Guest Mastery course baked into the high ticket programs of some of the leading industry leaders that attend your event has been a game changer for me. It's allowed me to show up in other communities as a supportive faculty member, adding value without competing with the main event. And it has certainly lined my pockets and helped me accomplish more as the boutique business that I have. And so I'm just really grateful that I showed up fully for that VIP mastermind. I'm sure there are other stories that you can tell from people that were there last year or the year before that came back from the event and had something magnificent happen. Can you elaborate?
Well, there's three of them. You mentioned like who else is coming. So these are actually the testimonials are on the sales page, and you'll have a link for that as well. But it's Christina Hills. If you don't know Christina Hill, she's been in the industry for a very long time, does the website creation workshops. My wife works with her directly as well and managing some of the back end, but she left a really beautiful testimonial again about what you said about the relationships that she built in that room. Many people she had already known or known for years, but really reunited with them or reignited a relationship, and then lots of new people that she hadn't. The same thing was echoed by Christine Closer with Get Your Book Done. She's also, you'll hear her testimonial on the event page. And Milana Leshinsky was also there. You'll see a picture of her on our Titan panel up on the stage. And she was the one who was saying on day 3, like, I'm ready to buy my ticket for next year. And we weren't sure yet if we were doing it. So we're really glad that she encouraged us to do that. And then another person that has already bought her ticket, Eva Gregory, is somebody who was on my radar list for a long time. I remember her being in a JV directory training where I was talking about like, oh my gosh, you were on my dream list. Oh no, it was a different event, but that she was one of the early people on my dream partner list. And now she's coming to our retreat as well. So those are a few of the other people that are going to be popping in.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, I've heard you say in other calls that in addition to the live presentations and the trainings, you're going to be doing your part to make sure this retreat feels more retreaty. What do
Yeah.
you mean by that?
So we call it the Soulful Leadership Retreat. And when it was originally created in 2020, it was a mouthful. It was called the Vision 2020 Soulful Leadership Retreat and Mastermind. And it was meant as a retreat in getting away from the business. So it's separating yourself from your normal environment. But it wasn't a retreat like where you're going into the mountains or to the ocean and you're really being at one with nature. And it evolved, even virtually, it evolved where we were doing more movement and breathing and actual retreat type activities. Last year, one of our guests was Sherry Rosenthal, who will also be coming back and has helped hundreds of retreat leaders to make their retreats very retreaty, which really just means, again, that people are feeling like they're taken care of and that they have a positive experience that they can take something home with them. So that's part of the thing for me with the Soulful Leadership Retreat is that even with 110 people last year, we had about 34 of them that joined our mastermind. But there was another 70, 80 people that we wanted to serve everybody. We wanted everybody to build relationships and to take information home. So like you said, we have a lot more breakouts and masterminds and more integration. So there's less talking on the stage and more talking at the tables. We have our Mastermind, MetaMind members like yourself that will host each of the tables. So you'll get to meet the leaders in the room, and you'll get to move around and meet different people. We purposely aggregate the room so everybody does get to shuffle around. And then we have special things like our JV directory, Partner Palooza. On the first evening, we're having all of our top partners will be hosting tables. So that'll be a different type of structure and a different way of really getting to know a lot of people very quickly and setting up partnerships that you can deepen over the 2 days after.
I really love the way that you share the leadership with your most treasured partners and affiliates. And I think that that comes back to you and Renee in the way that they support and champion you. And it just sort of becomes this energetic space where people are just looking after each other and making introductions for each other. And for those for whom partnership and joint venture and affiliate sounds like Greek to them, what better opportunity than to watch some of the most masterful strategic alliance partners show up as the very best that they can be, to set an example about the way that it can be done when it's done correctly, right?
Absolutely. And that's the bottom line. I love that you say that, because it really is about doing partnerships correctly. There's a whole new way of doing it where it isn't transactional. It really is aligned with our values, our vision, and our mission.
Mm-hmm. You know, last year I got the opportunity to meet Jennifer Deep Stratton in person at your event, and we had never met before. And there was a social event that happened by invitation only that I was invited to, where she was also there. And we had the opportunity to share a beverage and have some snacks and talk like two human beings across the same breakfast bar, and really deepened a wonderful relationship that was, marked by mutual respect of each other's talents and abilities and personalities. And it just felt so right for me to advocate and champion for two of her most recent launches and to finish very strong on her behalf. And one of the things that I was super excited about, that's a really wonderful win that just sort of took place very recently, is she asked me to participate in her live stream in connection with her big high ticket offer success. And I was glad to do it. And she asked me if I had a bonus that I could offer that would make her offer even stronger. And I asked her point blank, I said, I have an offer where people can donate $27 to my favorite charity and receive my very, very popular Bye Bye Boring Bio e-workbook as a gift. It's a win-win. Everybody gets a better bio. My charity gets supported.
The $97 workbook that they're getting for $27, it's all
Right.
going to charity.
And so just yesterday, she confirmed that 52 people will be getting this workbook, which is a $1,404 donation to my favorite charity. And it's because I found the courage to make an ask that maybe heretofore I didn't have the courage to reach out and suggest. But because we had a relationship and she liked what it was we were suggesting, she said, yeah, we'll make sure every single person gets that, and we'll make a donation on everybody's behalf. And I thought, that is just awesome. And it never would have happened if I hadn't found myself at the breakfast bar sharing a cold drink during the Super Bowl party at so-and-so's house. So I just think that Zoom has its limitations. It has its advantages too. But if you are tired of being in a Zoom room and you're ready to be eye to eye and nose to nose and knee to knee with the people that you have heretofore only admired from afar, the Soulful Leadership Retreat will give you the buffet of awesomeness that you've been likely hungry for, and it's all ready for you now. So in the show notes, I'm going to post a link where you can register and claim your place. I don't care if you do regular VIP, whatever level of engagement sounds great to you. But when you register with my link, you'll also get to attend my mastermind the day before. And if you want to love your business and love your life and get set up to succeed at this event where everyone is calling your name and cheering for you, I think you'll find that you'll be very well situated when you say yes to that. Is there anything more that you want to say about this event and your intentions for it that would be important for people to hear and know before they jump in and say yes?
Well, I was just thinking about what you were just sharing about the bonus that comes with having that extra mastermind time with you, and how cool it was to see your entourage show up last year. Because it was very visible and noticeable of the energy in your inner circle, because last year it was really just your inner circle. Now you're inviting other people in your community, in the broader community, to come to your mastermind day the day before. But coming to any event as part of a community, especially a community of light, a community of people that are highly respected and admired just for the way that they showed up. So Vicky, one of your people, you showed up, and in service, you suggested, well, maybe she could do some qigong. And I said, I don't want to ask you, you're here as a participant, but if you're interested. And so that became a highlight for a lot of people about doing morning 2 and 3, and we'll do that again this year. Vicky will be leading people in qigong who want to come early, and Tim, Wade, and your whole tribe. I remember Diana offering as soon as she got there. She goes, I've run a lot of events. If you need anything, you or Renee, just let us know. And it's just, again, being in a tribe. When you show up to an event in a tribe, it's great. But when you show up with Nancy Juetten's tribe, it's very, very powerful.
Well, I just feel like I'm so blessed to be in alignment and in relationship with so many amazing people. And whatever example we set in the way that we do whatever we do, I think it sets the tone for other people to rise up to meet it. And that's really the way that we do everything in the inner circle. And that's the way I show up in everything that I do. And so I'm very excited about being there. And so for those of you who are living far away from Florida, think about how great it will be to be in Florida in February, because I'm guessing that the weather wherever you are may not be as favorable as it is going to be in Florida. And that's certainly been a situation that I've loved to escape. It's very cold and rainy in Bellingham in February, and that is the last kind of weather I want for starting off my new year.
February is one of the best times to be in Orlando. Yeah, it's typically in the 70s and quite nice. Dry weather is beautiful, but again, the carving out that time on your schedule, the fact that you have done that and you're bringing your community of doing it, I just really appreciate what you bring to this space.
Well, thank you so much. What would you say to someone who's sitting on the fence to encourage them to take the leap and join you at the retreat?
One of the things that we do a lot on day one is talking about your inner guidance and trusting your inner guidance. You actually helped me to create a whole document about discernment in partnerships and going through discerning. And for me, a lot of it is really checking in and trusting your inner guidance. So if you're feeling called to be here, and need more information, happy to share that with you. Again, happy to share our checklist on what to look for the investment of it, but really just look at inside, like, what are you looking for? What is it that you want to create in your business and in your life? That's a big part of our message, Nancy and I both talking about not just having a great business, but having a great life and business. So if there's things that you're looking for, and you can see it, will this event help you? And you can even check in, you can say it as a sentence. Going to the Soulful Leadership Retreat will help me find blank, whatever that might be. And if your body is saying yes, come on down.
Well, and I would like to just close with a little personal anecdote. I think it was 2015 or 2016 that I got myself on a plane and I flew to Orange County to go to an event called JVX. And I didn't really know anybody. But I saw you across the room and you saw me across the room, and our eyes locked. And it was a weird kind of serendipitous thing, like, oh, are we supposed to know each other? That was
You were
it.
wearing a doctor's jacket at the time, so
Right. The bio doc is in, let the healing for boring bios begin the doc. But anyway, there was this like moment. And I
yeah.
thought, I think I was supposed to fly here to meet this man and to create a relationship that would be really rich and meaningful for our plans. And had I not gone to that event, I never would have met you, and I would have missed out on so many wonderful conversations and so many collaborations and so much truth telling and so much love and support. And I think that if you're hungry for those kinds of relationships and opportunities to connect with people where you really do belong and feel as though you have a role to play, if you like the conversation we're having here, then just trust that there's a whole lot more of it happening in Florida in February at the Soulful Leadership Retreat. It could be the greatest gift of your life to have someone that's in your corner and by your side that will tell you the truth and encourage you when you're low and celebrate when things are good. And, just enjoy the journey of growing a business and building a life, not just always focusing on the destination, but enjoying the journey too. And I'm just really so grateful that we met because it's one of the favorite relationships of my life. And you are definitely a jewel in the crown for me.
I couldn't say it better. And yes, you're my sister from another mister. The relationship that we built has been remarkable. And sometimes that happens, like you just feel called to be somewhere and you don't know why. And one relationship that you make can shift everything.
So with that intention, I say, if this is calling to you, well, it's calling to you. Go ahead in the show notes. You'll find the link to register, benefit from the special advantages that you enjoy when you register before Labor Day. It'll be here in a second. So just reach out for your checkbook, your credit card, knock yourself out, get this party started. We'll see you in February. And Mark Porteous, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Nancy. I love you and appreciate you so very much.
I feel the same way about you. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Bye for now.